I know we're showing a Fox News alert here, but I don't think you need a Fox News alert banner to get the idea that the media generally disproportionately covers these candidates when far more critical stories on Donald Trump versus those on Hillary Clinton. But it was interesting how Donald Trump has been framing that, not just to moan about it, but to call out the media at every single appearance, just like this. Take a look.
Supposing I got the debate questions, it would be front page of the Washington Post. It would be front page of the New York Times. He must immediately withdraw from the race. What he did is disgraceful. And I'll tell you what, they don't even write about it.
We're down to citing the press and the audience, pointing them out, which is why a lot of press who go there, come up the door in the little fake mustaches, which is comical. But it's a sign of the times. And it is seemingly a winning issue of late for Donald Trump. Howie Kurtz joins us right now, Media Buzz host. Howie, what do you think of that he has turned this into a campaign cause, that the media is the problem? It certainly gets his audience jazzed.
Yeah, I mean, Trump has been running against the dishonest media, the corrupt media, as he would put it, pretty much since he got into the race. But it's really intensified in this general election period, in part because there has been such an avalanche of negative coverage of Donald Trump, some of it legitimate, some of it not, or some of it hyped, and comparably far less media scrutiny of Hillary Clinton, no question.
Do you think, or has there been any evidence at all, you follow this very closely, that the media is maybe guilted into covering more of the WikiLeaks stories, more of the email revelations? Because what I have seen in the Washington Post, New York Times, et cetera, is more fault going against Comey, FBI Director Comey, than the Clinton folks. But again, I might not be catching all of these stories.
Well, let's start with WikiLeaks, the hack Clinton emails. I mean, for weeks, it was sort of covered at a very low level because it was mostly Clinton advisors taking all kinds of swipes at needy Latinos and that sort of thing. Then there were 2 days, Neil, where it just exploded into the media. Front page, above the fold, New York Times, Washington Post, Wall Street Journal, and led off the CBS and NBC nightly news, because that was when we had the emails about Bill Clinton, Inc. and cashing in on the Clinton Foundation, and also people at the very top of her campaign saying that Hillary Clinton had terrible instincts and an almost pathological inability to apologize. The next day, after that 48-hour period, James Comey's letter to the Hill leaked about the renewed FBI inquiry, and that blew everything else off the screen.
What is your sense of where this ends up? I mean, I'm always looking for another surprise, Howie. We can't predict that. But whether this same ratio of critical Trump stories, again, I always tell people whether they're on the right or left, I mean, it's inarguable. I mean, there are more of them, and a lot of people on the left will say, well, he deserves them. Whatever. That this disproportionate critical coverage will be more unfair to Donald Trump, and that's just the way it will be right through the election.
Right. Well, I think right now we're all getting swept up, as you did in your last segment, the maps in can he win Colorado or New Hampshire. And so the fact that Donald Trump, despite the fact that many pundits just 2 weeks ago said this is over, let's talk about who's going to be in Hillary's cabinet, it's so competitive now that will become the dominant story. But, the FBI investigation, although it's eased off a bit after the Clinton campaign with help from the press, kind of made Comey the story. It was more about Hillary Clinton running against Jim Comey than Donald Trump. But, given the craziness of this campaign, the idea that there'll be a bombshell or two in the final weekend, I don't discount that. But I don't see the overall ratio changing, because even some mainstream media critics have said, look, Donald Trump is such an unusual, unorthodox, and even dangerous character that we have to cover him more aggressively.
That's the latter
point. That's not fair.
No, you're right. Yeah. That's the latter point. They meant that it's almost their obligation to tell people that, or feel that they have to. Very quickly, though, is it your sense here that the media is recognizing that its stories are imbalanced, but to that earlier point, they feel that is their duty to just keep pointing this out, because so many of them have editorialized that he's just dangerous?
Right, on the opinion side, and you get that from the right too, National Review, Weekly Standard. I think there's a recognition that perhaps collectively the press has gone overboard on Donald Trump. But there's two things there. One is a sort of a built-in hostility or skepticism toward Trump as president, and also Trump's stories rate better and they provide more clicks online, so there's kind of that economic incentive.
You're exactly
we just
right.
haven't
That,
We just haven't seen
I
that
think
match
is
on
the
the Hillary
case.
side.
That is the
Yeah.
case. Which is why I think a lot of them secretly would welcome a Trump presidency. It's good business, right?
4 years in great news.
And great ratings.
And controversy, I mean. Yeah.
You got it. All right. Thank you, Howie, very, very much.